Good day, everyone. Our group will be discussing the most influential periods in history, the Renaissance. The word Renaissance means rebirth, and this period marked cultural, intellectual, and artistic revival after the Middle Ages. To understand why the Renaissance period happened, we need to look at the world before it. During the Middle Ages, society was dominated by feudalism, a system where kings and nobles controlled the land and most people were peasants. Arts and knowledge were mostly focused on religion, and scientific discoveries were limited. However, this changed as Europe began to experience major transformation. The Renaissance started in Italy at the 14th century and lasted until the 17th century. And why Italy? There were several key reasons. First, the trade and wealth. Italian cities like Florence, Venice, and Rome became rich from trading with the Middle East and Asia. And secondly, the Medici family. This powerful family in Florence supported artists, scientists, and thinkers financially. And lastly, the rediscovery of ancient texts. After the fall of Constantinople in 1453, Greek scholars fled to Italy bringing classical books and ideas. Because of these factors, people in Italy became interested at learning, art, and science, which led to a period of incredible innovation. But what made Renaissance art different from medieval art? Let's find out.
The characteristics of Renaissance art and humanism. Renaissance art was very different from medieval art. During the Middle Ages, most paintings were flat, unrealistic, and focused on religious themes. But Renaissance artists developed new techniques that made their work more lifelike and dynamic. Let's look at some of the most important features of Renaissance art. Perspective. Artists used mathematics to create the illusion of depth, making paintings look three-dimensional. Chiaroscuro. This technique used light and shadow to add drama and realism. Sfumato. A soft blending of colors to create a more neutral look used in Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. Anatomy studies. Artists like Michelangelo studied the human body to create more realistic sculptures and paintings. Aside from artistic techniques, another key idea of the Renaissance was humanism. Humanism was a philosophy that focused on human potential, individuality, and the beauty of the natural world. It encouraged people to question traditional beliefs and explore new ideas in art, science, and politics. With this shift in thinking, artists started portraying not just religious figures, but also everyday people, landscapes, and mythological scenes. This brings us to some of the most famous Renaissance artists.
So the Renaissance produced some of the most famous artists in history. One of them was Leonardo da Vinci, often called the Renaissance man, because he was not only a painter but also an inventor, scientist, and engineer. So his most famous works include the Mona Lisa, a portrait with a mysterious smile, The Last Supper, our famous religious painting, and the anatomy sketches. He studied the human body to make realistic drawings. Next, we have Michelangelo, a brilliant sculptor and painter. So he created the statue of David, a masterpiece in marble, and painted the Sistine Chapel ceiling, which tells biblical stories. So another important artist was Raphael, who painted the School of Athens, a work that shows great thinkers like Plato and Aristotle. So his paintings are known for their beauty and harmony. Lastly, we have Donatello, was a sculptor famous for his bronze statue of David, which was the first freestanding nude statue since ancient times. So these artists changed the way people viewed art forever. But the Renaissance was not just about painting and sculpture. It also led to major advancement in science and architecture.
The Renaissance wasn't just an artistic movement, but it also led to breakthroughs in science, technology, and architecture. Scientific discoveries. First, we have the printing press in invented by James Gutenberg, it made books widely available and spread knowledge across Europe. Second is the heliocentrism. Nicolaus Copernicus proposed that the sun, not the earth, was the center of the universe. This theory was later confirmed by Galileo Galilei. Lastly is the anatomy studies. Doctors like Andreas Vesalius studied the human body in detail, leading to major advancements in medicine. Now let's talk about the Renaissance architecture. Architects were inspired by ancient Roman and Greek designs, leading to the use of domes, columns, and symmetry in buildings. Famous Renaissance architecture. We have the Dome of Florence Cathedral, designed by Filippo Brunelleschi. It was an engineering marvel. Second is the St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City, a grand church featuring a massive dome. These scientific and architectural achievements changed the way people saw the world and helped shape modern society. But that was the overall impact of the Renaissance.
The Renaissance had a long-lasting impact on the world. Let's take a look at its influence in different areas. Art. The techniques developed in the Renaissance influenced later art movements like Baroque, Neoclassicism, and Romanticism. Science. The Renaissance sparked the scientific revolution, leading to discoveries in astronomy, physics, and medicine. Education. Schools and universities adopted humanist ideas, focusing on literature, history, and philosophy. Exploration. The Renaissance encouraged curiosity, leading to the age of exploration, with navigators like Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan. Today, we can still see the effects of the Renaissance in our modern world, whether in art, science, architecture, or education. This period shaped the way we think and create. To conclude, the Renaissance was more than just an era. It was a revolution of ideas, creativity, and humanity. Thank you for listening.